Good morning. Welcome to the Fire Committee meeting for April 14th, 2026. We will call the meeting to order. Are there any declaration of pecuniary interests?
None, no.
Thank you. We can circulate the prior meeting's minutes. Are there any questions?
No.
All right, thank you very much. We can move on to the Fire Hall Joint Health and Safety Committee inspection sheets. I didn't have any questions on it.
No,
Any
they were,
questions for you?
they were good.
They look great.
Good job.
Well done. And then we can move on to the fire monthly report for March 2026.
Alrighty. So. Right now we're sitting at 26 volunteers as of basically last night. We added an additional 3. I've got 4 on there. We haven't actually brought the 4th one on yet, but we are planning to bring the 4th one on. Training went well for last month, so we get into some of the rope training and the firefighter survival, which we try to do indoors. So we got that stuff knocked out of the way. We did rent Lambton College for a night and did some search and rescue out there. We have a plan to do a second search and rescue night out there for the members that didn't make it. And then we'll be adding a fire day here before too long, where it gets too hot. Call wise, a little bit slower again last month. Community relations, we're working with the Bridgeview School to do their domino challenge through the Inn of the Good Shepherd. So that's kicked off and been running pretty good. So we've been bantering back and forth with the school a little bit, having a little bit of fun. And we have nothing to compare it to because we've never done it before, but in all intents and purposes, everything's going pretty good. The school's doing well with their collections. We're doing well with our collections. And then we just kind of keep it up to date with the principal over there to see where we're at. And the plan is come the 30th, they want to do like a closing of the challenge. So the school is going to set up over there, and we're probably going to get some members to go over and help and set up the dominoes there. And then I think the plan is to end it at the door at Bridgeview and then start it at the door of the fire hall. And then continue the domino, just for a little bit of fun. We're not sure logistically how that's going to work out, but that's the plan anyways. And then the collection of the cereal will all go to either the school or will the principal over there is trying to make some arrangements with the Inn of the Good Shepherd to come and possibly pick it all up. So we'll see how that goes. We did do a basketball game with the Special Olympics organization, so that was all good. Everybody had a lot of fun that night, so we had some good positive feedback from them. They always like to have us over there and run around. And fire and safety inspection. So we did an inspection over at the Village Inn. Was the Quality Inn, now it's back to the Village Inn. So we did initial inspection over there, Claudio and I. We did put some paper to the owner, with some repairs and stuff that they needed to buff up, which we did do a re-inspection. They did comply with all our orders, so everything's running pretty decent there. And at the Holiday Inn Express, we did the hotel inspection there with no issues. The food trucks, so Blue Water Gourmet, Archie's, and Yogi's were all completed with no deficiencies. We did do a home daycare pre-visit and gave them some feedback on what they need to do before they start utilizing their basement as part of their business. We did do a home bakery inspection and everything was all good there. And then we did schedule an inspection with the 4 Points, and we did go, but there was some people that were sick at the time, so we weren't able to complete the inspection. So Claudia and I did a walk around the building, and we didn't do a full inspection, but we didn't find anything glaring there. And we're doing a reschedule when the gentleman gets back off vacation. So Claudio's emergency management stuff.
Yes, so there's a meeting that was organized by FIFA, EMO in Toronto.
Please, yeah, step up. It's better if
Fine.
you're part of us.
Okay. Yeah, so FIFA, Emergency Management Ontario and Toronto Emergency Management put together a meeting, kind of a pre-planning meeting for the World Cup coming up in June. So there's a massive amount of planning that goes into something like that. They're expecting hotels in the 300-kilometer radius to be booked, including us here.
Oh, that's
Wow.
why we're included.
Yeah,
Couldn't figure that.
the pricing there right now is astronomical. $800-900 a night for a hotel room, so people are gonna start to venture out.
Wow.
They didn't get too deep into the logistical planning part of their session there, which I understand, but there's a lot going on there as far as their planning and what's happening there in June, so it'll be an interesting time. There was a couple Environment Canada briefings that happened over the month, mostly snow, winter weather related. EP Day planning meeting, so that's coming up here May at the college. So it's all coming together pretty good. The Toronto Police Service put out or offered this presentation on Iran and just some of the I guess history or background of
Yeah.
everything that's come to this point. And just, yeah, it's more of an informational session than anything else, nothing like to worry about, but just
Yeah.
kind of, this scholar from England was speaking and he did a really good job.
It was interesting, you know.
Kind of give him the background of how this whole thing came about. And
That'll be interesting.
yeah, so Toronto Police put it out. They have this arm called the Iron Shield, I guess, it's some sort of terrorist side of
Yeah.
their division.
Hmm.
So we attended that and I thought it was actually eye-opening to see what was going on there and what had happened over the last 100 years.
Hmm.
And then SADS exercise planning is still happening, so June 4th.
I think it's fourth.
Yeah. We are still hosting it. The Optimus Hall we used as kind of a kickoff meeting area. Spectators or viewers will be there watching it. They'll have drones over the scene, broadcasting back to the Optimus Hall. And then we'll go back there for the debrief after. What I'm thinking and planning is possibly doing our exercise for the village concurrently. That ties into what's happening with the exercise or the SADS exercise. So I put out an email for save the date for that day morning. And we'll see how we can make that work. Or not, but that's kind of the plan right now is to piggyback off that for our annual exercise as well. And yeah,
Thank you.
that's what I got.
Partner agency activities and initiatives. So our members attended the monthly planning meeting with the planning group from Lambton County. Coast Guard Auxiliary Point SAR has been utilizing our meeting room for some of their training needs, which seems to be going okay. We did assist in a ground search with local PD for missing persons that they ended up finding in Canatera Park. And we did work with one of our neighboring departments, taking one of their members that was on a course that needed access to a building that they didn't have access to and needed to learn about some of the life safety systems. So we did that as well. Our facility, nothing really to report. The basement we can talk about in the closing comments. Our vehicles, the Rescue 3 repairs are still pending, so the gaskets that need to be replaced. So we did come up with an agreement with Cummings. Even though the truck's out of warranty, they're gonna pay 50/50.
Oh, that's good.
So it's something. So that truck, we've got it scheduled in for the 28th of this month, so it'll be out of service for them. And then, of course, the paint repairs, which is the more significant one. We haven't set a date for that. We have an agreement for the 50/50 on the warranty with that already. But that means taking the truck out of service for at least a week and then taking it down to Woodstock. And so logistically, it's a lot more complicated. Especially because we have to take the truck out of service and every piece of tooling on it and all the equipment has to come off.
Oh, God.
Because it doesn't go to a secured facility, so we don't want to leave any gear on that truck, so it'll be a big job to unload that, so. All the other vehicles are currently in working order. Health and safety, we did complete the women's training that was outlined by our health and safety coordinator. We did attend a joint health and safety committee meeting, and we did do our internal inspections with nothing to report. Security, got nothing, no capital expenditures done last month. Community feedback, other than the Special Olympics stuff, we don't really have anything to report there. Upcoming events, the Age Friendly event, which has been rebranded from the Seniors Fair, so that's May 6th. That's going to be at the Point Edward Arena. So we're involved in that. Of course, the Special Olympics ball game that we played, and the Learn to Fish Day, the most notable. We do have a function coming up in June as well. That's the surf and turf for the End of the Good Shepherd. We win and sell tickets. So we've been part of that for a number of years now. So that's coming up in June as well. But it's a little ways off, but time seems to go pretty fast here. So Claudia and I did a water rescue awareness course that was put on by the OFM. We completed that. We took part in an NFPA webinar on retention ideas that was hosted by the NFPA. We did have a meeting with the CAS, Children's Aid Society, the director, and their health and safety committee to discuss some fire safety planning and how we can help out with that. So we've kind of given them some information to work with and come back with us, or come back to us. And then we're going to have another sit down with them and get their fire safety plan buffed up a little bit. They've really grown over there. Originally, they started when Richard was in charge. They had the one building. Now they're expanded into 3 buildings over there. So they've got staff kind of everywhere, and they've got staff in and out of the building. So their dynamic has changed quite a bit over there. We did have a meeting with a software developer called First Do. Some of our fire departments in the area have gone with this software. It does have some value. But once we got talking with them more and more, we asked for some costing before we went any further. And the costing was what we considered fairly significant, without having, capital approval to do anything. So we just kind of left it at that. Sarnia is using it, St. Clair got to it, and Lambton Shores has gone to it now. So people around us are going to it. They're seeing some value in it. So we might discuss that more when we get closer to capital time for next year's budget. We did attend the quarterly Lambton County Fire Prevention meeting. It was out in Brook Township. All the other county fire prevention officers. Did attend a meeting regarding some new radio procedures for all of the county fire departments. So that was hosted out in Wyoming. So what they want to do is, now that we're all using Sarnia Dispatch, because before only us in Sarnia were using Sarnia Dispatch, the rest of the county was using the CAC system. Now they've all migrated over to Sarnia Dispatch. So language wise, they want us all on the same page. So they want us using the same benchmarks, the same radio traffic, plain language and all that kind of stuff. So they're just trying to come up with some procedures for dispatch, so we're all on the same page. We did do some interviews with some new recruits. So we had a committee put together that did the initial interviews and come up with some recommendations. And now we brought some of those people on. Regarding the basement, so right now we had the dehumidifier repaired locally. The contractor said that did the repair said it might last a year or so. It's kind of hard to say. It does have a small leak, but they couldn't find it, but they were able to recharge it and make it work. It's been working since. The painting has been started, and it's still an ongoing process with the painting. So I guess right now we're kind of just looking for some approval on what we can spend to move forward with that project. I did look into the Enbridge rebates. There doesn't seem to be anything available to us of any significant value. because the boiler system hasn't been in operation for a number of years, they don't consider that replacement heat source. So there really doesn't seem to be much there for us. Again, the cereal challenge, it's underway. We did attend a meeting with Lambton County Fire Chiefs in regards to the GIS mapping and the 911 addressing. It doesn't really apply. We took part in the meeting, but it doesn't really apply to us because we're already on the GIS system for Lambton County. Some of the county departments need to get some of their addressing sorted out, but we're pretty good. We did attend the OFMPOA meeting and training, and one of the presenters talked about the growing trend of arson fires for money and the lithium ion battery fires that are on the rise. So those are two topics, excuse me, that he hit on pretty hard. Not so much in our area, but Windsor Hamilton area are seeing an increase in arson fires. And a little bit of talked about these renovation fire scams where people buy these properties in a state where they're not in good shape, and then they pretend to renovate them, light them on fire, and then they put in claims for the full value of the home. So he talked about some of those things, and then the lithium ion batteries are just more and more prevalent in our world. Everything that we seem to have electronically is powered by these lithium ion batteries, and in all intents and purposes they're safe, but if people start mucking with them or messing with them or using the wrong chargers, or they get damaged and stuff like that, then they seem to have caused a lot of or more problems, I guess. Knock on wood, we haven't seen too many here, but if we encounter a lithium ion battery fire, part of our reporting to the fire marshal includes that now, where it never did before. So that's something new. Talked about the 4 points. We do have an all-day training coming up. So they finally released the new fire code in the province. It came out in January. We finally just got our codes a week and a half ago, the hard copy books. So there is a training that's being put on through our local OFMPOA chapter. It's down in Tecumseh, but they're going to do an online version. So Claudia and I are going to partake on the online version. So, and that is the end of the report.
Thank you.
So,
Any questions?
I had a couple questions, but just not necessarily in order, but one you just talked about batteries. Something I've been reading about is that you should not leave your charger plugged into the wall. So, when you disconnect your phone to go away and you leave the cord plugged in, that those are fire hazards.
I mean, it's best practice. That's what they're recommending. Best practices to unplug them for sure.
They can actually start a fire from just the cord.
I haven't seen any too much data on that, but I mean, they generate a heat.
And I think the problem too is like they don't always just stay in properly. So if it starts, the weight of the charger's
Oh,
on the
yeah,
wall, and
okay.
then there's so many things that can happen.
Off kilter or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, no, I'm just curious because I've been reading that, so I've been consciously
Unplugging
pulling
them.
them out of the wall. Question I had about that software.
The First Do software.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there any option? Said like other people are going to use it. The answer is probably no, but is there any way you can partner with someone else to buy,
We tried that.
a joint purchase?
Well, we didn't explore a joint purchase because our two closest partners have already done
Yeah,
it.
that's right. That's probably wouldn't work, but
We asked about if we could go on as a satellite to one of the other ones. And the vendor obviously said no. So we have two softwares that we use now. One is our reporting software and some of our tracking software, the Fire Pro software. And then we have the Who's Responding, which we use on our phones.
Yeah.
And the First Do has the ability to do both of those. So we were thinking that you know, if we could eliminate the two softwares for the same or close to the same price as the one software, that would be, you know, it would add some value for us. Unfortunately, that's not the case. There's, I think the initial cost was around 18 or 20,000. Is that what it was? I forget now. And then there's a maintenance cost over annually, which was in the $14,000 to $16,000 mark. So
Yeah.
what we're in probably under 8,000 right now for what we do now. So we thought, well, if we were in that wheelhouse or that ballpark, that we might make the change, and that puts us all in the same field. We'll see. You know, moving forward, that's to us for a small community seems like a lot of money for software.
Agree.
If we could do a deep dive on the software and say it's going to save us, you know, a fair amount of time on either our pay structures or, you know, a reporting structure, or, you know, if we can find cost savings that way, then it might be worthwhile in the long run. But for us to spend that kind of money a year, and it's probably not going to be doable right now. So.
And then yesterday we were talking about the cereal challenge, and we were talking about the volume, like the number of boxes. Jim found some numbers online.
Did he?
You said when.
Oh, the one school, yeah.
Yeah, was that their total?
Yep.
So
Yeah.
we were far exceeding the
We're-
numbers of the other schools. So
We're doing pretty good. The school,
We're up.
I think the school might be, you know, for,
Unless they're
they might be under
Oh.
reporting, and we're,
Shit going on.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
and
No comment.
yeah.
Well, I'm
So-
saying you're up to 500, and that other school was like 197.
You gotta edit that out of the video.
See, no,
Oh,
you just told her.
I'm sorry. That was secret.
Yeah. So we did, so the Optimist brought us, Point Edward Optimist brought us some cereal and said that we could take it to the school. So we took that to the school yesterday. And the young lady that was in the one room, she was in charge of counting the cereal, and she wanted to know what we had, and we
Oh.
wanted to know what she had, and she wouldn't tell us. But she alluded to that they had more than what they were saying they had, so, which was what we thought might be happening over there. So
Dear.
we did,
Custom over there.
yeah, we did serve them with some orders over there, but so we'll see.
I'm really enjoying watching the social media
Yeah.
back and forth.
Yeah,
So,
so
and it has been really great for the Bridgeview parent page,
oh yeah,
because there's been so much content generated.
Oh.
It's coming up, you know, you're actually seeing it come up instead of having to go search for the
Yeah,
page.
yeah.
Like it's popping up in the algorithm. So
Oh.
we're actually seeing when
You're seeing the
like hot
crying- the
lunches
crying
and what
badger?
all of the different things that are happening at the school. So unintentional, but it's having a great effect for the school that way as
Yeah.
well.
Good.
My
Yeah.
grandkids, King George is doing it as well, so they were talking about it last night, everybody's getting into it. And just one other one, I happened to notice yesterday, somewhere I was in a store or something, I saw a flyer, there's a seniors fair at the Polish Hall. It's a week before the Age Friendly,
no, I didn't,
so you're not involved in it at all, but I thought,
no,
it seems like strange timing. With a week later with the huge
yeah,
Age Friendly, but
yeah, because the age friendly one gets a lot of traction. Like there's, I don't even know how many hundreds of people come through there.
yeah, because they use community hall as well.
Yeah.
Okay, I just noticed it, so I wondered if you had seen that.
No, I hadn't
and
seen
Had
that.
anything involvement, but I think they called it a seniors fair, and it's Polish Hall, and
Oh, really? Okay.
like probably the last Saturday in April, or
Huh. Hmm.
I just happened to notice that sign yesterday.
Yeah,
People
'cause
so many
the,
questions.
Yeah, the age friendly, I mean, it's a full day.
Yeah,
Like from 9 till 6. Yeah, it's a long day. And they bus people in from everywhere, and yeah, so I don't know, they've got to be up over 1,000 people that come throughout the day. I know usually it depletes everything that we bring in.
yeah,
You know, we did an order to the fire marshal's public safety council and ordered some more stuff in for the event. We'll go through all of it easily.
Yeah, I just wondered about the timing and thought it was maybe duplication of efforts and anyway.
So as
Thank
far
you.
as, our guys are gonna kill me for this one, but for, maybe your donation for the cereal would, if you wanna,
You
Yeah.
want me to give it
to the school.
to the school? I'm gonna get something today, so.
Yeah.
Great. At least today or tomorrow. I have all week, right?
Yeah, well,
Okay,
yeah. And even after that, I mean, the trickle in Tabitha, the principal over there, she said anything that comes in over,
but
they'll just, but the official end is Friday.
okay, and the actual event again is,
It's called Domino's, cereal Domino's.
The the 30th of April.
Yep.
Okay,
Is when you're
Oh,
gonna set up
oh,
the
the-
domino.
Yeah.
yeah, the kickoff.
okay,
Yeah.
all
Or
right,
the end of the program, be at the 30th of April, yeah.
okay, I will do that.
You do a recorded vote on that donation to the school.
I have to declare a conflict.
And I believe this confidentiality.
The NFPA webinar on retention, did you get anything actionable from there?
I mean, there's a lot of great ideas.
Anything that would work for your,
It was about recruitment and retention, and a lot of it comes back to being flexible with the training. They say add fun into the training. It's hard to add fun into the training when it's hard work.
It's mandatory.
Yeah, and it's
That's a lot
it's
of fun.
mandatory, but
I think even just adding little
Yeah.
bits of lightheartedness, which you guys already
Yeah,
do,
they do
in
that,
between
yeah.
the hard parts,
Yeah.
really do count for
And
the
then-
grades.
you know, a lot of the treats are always good. The sometimes it comes down to money from the municipality to, you know, for, you know, small little swag type things like,
Mhm.
you know, ball hats and that kind of stuff. And regalia and stuff like that. But the biggest thing was because everybody in their lives are so busy now is trying to be more flexible. Which we try to do, but at the same time, we keep our training nights on the Monday night because that seems to work and that's the way it's been for as long as I can remember.
And that offers a certain type of flexibility for them as well, because they know it's gonna be on Monday night, so they're not waiting till you put out the next month's schedule to try and plan the rest of their life.
Yeah.
You might not be adjusting to each individual person's schedule, but
Yeah.
because it's the same all the time, it allows them to flex things.
We tried years ago, because this tends to be a cycle for us. And we tried the multiple nights of training and you know, Chief McKenzie tried that, I don't know, 15 years ago, 10 years ago, whatever it was. And to try to accommodate, you know, different people. And we found that, you know, it just wasn't being attended well the second night. So we just stuck with the Monday nights. And, you know, we looked at, because a lot of Mondays fall on, or a lot of holidays fall on Mondays. And we used to say, okay, well, we'll do it on Tuesday night instead. And we were finding that people were, you know, on the holiday, they were still willing to come. So we moved it back and just made the Mondays. And if you can make it, great. If not, then, you know, it is what it is kind of thing. So we've tried to be flexible. And then during the day, like we offer up to our staff, if somebody's off during the day and they want to come in and do some training, you know, we're there and we'll try to accommodate our schedules to train with them. If they've got the time to come and train, then we'll try to make our time available for them to come and help them out. So we try to be flexible, but that was probably the biggest thing, that and the adding some fun into it and programs, you know, similar to what we've done with the contribution stuff, like the RSP contribution stuff, things like that to attract and keep people in the department.
You mentioned one training earlier on where you said we're going to do it again for those that missed.
Well, because we have
So,
you know,
Rescue.
Out at college.
out at the
The
college.
college.
Yeah.
Search and rescue.
So you are making attempts like to,
Yeah, because we have to split our groups,
Yeah.
because sometimes we end up with, 19 or 20 people or 22 people on a training night. And we can't send them all to the college because we need, and that was,
oh, we covered.
it doesn't happen very often, but that's exactly what happened that training night. So we sent a group to the college, and then we ended up having 2 calls on the Monday night while their crew was out at the college, but we kept a crew here to train. So they were able to mitigate the calls, and, if the other crew had to come back from the college, they would have, but.
Balancing act.
But we have, we
Yeah.
have to balance it because we can't empty out the village of our staff, and. But we want to, we want to check all the right boxes for getting the people the right training, so. The crew that was out at the college, next time they'll be in the village, and the crew that was here will go out and do the search and
Yeah.
rescues.
And how did the recruitment go this time around? Did you-
So we
Lot of
ended up
interest?
with, the committee went through the resumes. We got a lot of resumes, unfortunately, from outside of the area. So the 4 that they interviewed, and eventually we offered positions to, except for the one we haven't yet, but we will. One is just on the other side of the golf course, one is on the corner of Hollywood and Christina. So close, but not in the village. One is in the village, behind the fire hall on Alice Street. He rents from a gentleman there.
Hmm.
And then the other fellow is just at the corner over on Arrow Road there, so. Fairly close by, all have their certifications, already, they're fire
Wow.
1 and 2.
Great.
Which is good for us, so we just need to get them through the recruitment phase and get them kind of conditioned to what we do, and then we'll go from there. And then we'd like to, looking forward, probably get a few more. There's a couple in the village that we'd like to get, that don't have any certification, but we'd have to get them through the certification process, and it's asking a lot. There's a lot of work that has to be done on their behalf. I mean, yes, the village will compensate them, but at the same time, they have to want to do it. It's not something that you'd be, yeah, I think I want to do it. You have to want to do it because there's a lot to do. There's a lot of book work. There's a lot of testing. There's just a lot of hours that they have to put in to get it done.
Well, I'm glad to hear that
Yeah.
there was a lot of interest and that you were able.
Yeah,
to
there was a
get
lot of
there.
interest for sure, yeah.
So it puts us back at, well, once he does the other one, it puts it back at 30, which was the number that we were running.
Yeah.
For quite a while, trying to maintain 30, right?
Mhm.
So it's comforting to get back to that number.
Do you think there was a reason that you had good interest this time, or just it just happened that way?
There's we had a lot of interest, because of the fire school here.
Mhm.
There's a lot of, people that have their certifications in the area. It's just, they live too far outside of the parameters. And
So just geographic left this time then?
yeah, and they, it doesn't sound like they're far away, but some are out on Blackwell, some are down in the south end of the city. And the problem that we've encountered by having members that are farther outside of the response area is that they don't get the experience that they want.
Mhm.
And then, so they come out of the gate strong, but then over time, they're not making the trucks, they're not getting the experience they want, and then, then their enthusiasm starts to wane, and then we have to have these hard conversations with them why they're not showing up, and, we had put money into buying them gear, and
Yeah.
so in our experience, if you're not in the village or very close to the village, it's difficult for us to take, like, a lot of great candidates. And I know there's people that applied that said they will move into the village. And it's easier said than done. And, I've had some conversations with some people saying, well, I told you that I would move in the village, and I said, well, that's great, but when you move in the village, then come see us.
Mhm.
And then we'll
Yeah, when it happens.
we'll revisit it, because it's difficult, one, to get a place in the village, and there's not a lot, like small apartments and stuff like that to rent. And then the bigger thing is that they just stop showing up, and then we have to have these hard conversations with them, saying, okay, well, you're not showing up, so can't be part of the department, and Nobody wants to have that. I don't want to have that conversation with them because I want them to get the experience, but I also need something from them. And
Well, you know what, too, that is a retention technique in
Mm.
itself. Considering those things in hiring, that doesn't make them a bad candidate.
no,
It
100%.
it just decreases the chance of retaining them.
Yeah.
So if you have two like people and one you're gonna more likely keep and one you're gonna have to replace, it's a cost saving measure and it's retention.
Well, especially when you have to buy the outfits.
Sure.
The-
Just the
yeah.
cost to train someone in any role is very
Yeah.
expensive. This would be more expensive.
Yeah.
And so,
And it's not just a Point Edward problem. It's a North American problem. Like any of the fire magazines, or any of the publications that we look at, those are the top three. Volunteer firefighters, retention and
Mhm.
recruitment, lithium ion battery fires,
Yeah.
and and cancer, yeah, are the three big things that we keep reading about. So it's not just an us thing, it's an everybody thing. And with the cost of everything, and the way the world is right now, it's people are busy. You know, the average retention of a firefighter now is, probably in the 5 years or less, where it used to be, 30 years and, 25 to 30 years, you keep a firefighter. Those days are gone. So they might have to change, the provincial award systems and stuff like that, because you get one at 20 and then 25.
Yeah,
They're gonna probably have to start them at 10,
yeah,
just
yeah.
because just changing times. Maybe we'll get back to that 20-year stuff, but yeah, things will change like everything else.
okay. If there are no further questions about the fire monthly report for March 2026, we can move on to the update on the basement upgrades of the fire hall.
So I put together this memo based on the spreadsheet that Rick had sent me, or actually he sent me an email with a number of costs that are included in that spreadsheet. I can open it up here. Just give me a second. So there's 6 items there, 7. So 6 items, but 2 of them are one or the other. You either put in the electric wall heater or you put in a heat pump. And if you go with the electric wall heater at 6,300, the heat pump is 12,800. The recommendation that I put together is to go with the heat pump just because it's a better system, like a much better system for the space. So the projected cost for that is 12,850. There are unbudgeted expenses. My proposal is just to charge them all to the building maintenance account, which we would definitely be over at the end of the year, probably by the full amount or close to it. My logic for that is as Rick has talked about in previous meetings, there was money put aside for renovations to the basement a number of years ago, like maybe 4 or 5 years ago, maybe even more than that. That money was never spent, so it just went back into the general
Do we
reserves.
have an idea how much money that was?
My memory tells me it was 8, but
I was thinking 10.
Do we think we could get that information?
we definitely can.
I like not right at the second,
Yeah.
but
I was thinking it was 10, but could be wrong.
because if that's the amount of money that was set aside for that, then that seems completely justifiable.
We could do it in stages as well, like, we could look at, obviously the painting's underway. If we could get some permission to buy some of the flooring, and then look closer towards the fall about the heat pump or the wall heater. The heat pump is the gold standard, according to the the contractor. So that does heat, a little bit of air, and some dehumidifications. He recommends that we have a dehumidifier as well, but he says it does do some dehumidification.
Do we have an idea of the lifespan of the electric wall heater versus heat pump?
Um,
I'm sure there's a big difference, but
I have one and it was
I mean,
put in like
we've had wall heaters in,
7 years ago.
a wall heater or?
Yeah, a wall heater. My contractor put it into my downstairs washroom.
yeah, I would say the wall heater, is probably a 10 to 15 year type lifespan. Like, we've had them in the foyer of the library there.
Yeah, that's what it is,
For
yeah.
at least 10 years. You know, we've got them in the washrooms in the fire hall.
So then what is the justification? I know the heat pump's the gold standard, but what is the reasoning we would ultimately like the heat pump versus the electric wall heater? For the cost difference.
Well, it's got the heat and the air and the dehumidification.
Mhm. But we would still need an additional dehumidifier,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, he's saying we wouldn't need the commercial one, so we wouldn't have to, if the one commercial unit we have, once it dies, we would just have to put a home one in there.
And with the electric wall heater, we would need to replace that humidifier when it goes
At some
commercial
point,
level.
at commercial level, which
Yeah.
you,
$2,000. Well, actually, no,
2000 now. Oh,
yeah, no, it was actually 2,400 plus tax, so it'd be 2,900.
Are there any additional savings that we would get?
The heat pump's gonna be, way more efficient.
Okay.
It
That's a big
doesn't
deal.
draw near the power, that the wall heater would.
The wall
And it's
heater-
more, I mean, you can put a thermostat on the wall heaters as well. But the heat pump,
I don't think
long term would,
The wall heater dissipates the heat as effectively.
it'd be just in that one room.
Right.
Yeah,
I don't think you get the same.
And then with the heat pump,
It'd be more,
there'd be no vents.
Yeah,
is what, that's just,
the ductwork, is it?
yeah,
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
it'll
yeah.
be a split unit, yeah.
External fan blower.
Yeah, so it'll still just be that one room, but it'll have a larger capacity.
think more efficient.
Well, it'll definitely be more efficient for sure,
Um,
long term.
I had said I would pay for paint out of the
Mhm.
mayor's budget, so what if I did the floor? The floor, you said you want the flooring, so that's $500 and the paint $200.
Yeah, so the rubber flooring's $3,400.
No, I didn't mean that one.
Oh,
The one farther down, that floor and wall fans.
oh, the
500.
fans. So,
Floor fan, like a.
yeah, those are just the floor fans to keep air moving down there.
Or it's so the top two items are paint.
Yeah, so the paint, the supplies,
So there's 700.
700, yeah.
So that way you could start purchasing paint and
Yeah, so one of our members reached
He had
out to
one.
his supplier, so we've got paint at a discounted rate. We haven't paid for it yet, but we have had some paint.
so I take that amount out of the mayor's budget and then that just brings it down a bit, what goes into your for overage.
So since this went in, the one wall fan, we were able to repurpose from Jay's basement. Jay Verstraeten's basement.
Oh, okay.
So they had a wall fan down there that they weren't utilizing, so I talked to Jay and he said, yeah, you can have it, so we went over
Really
and got it.
big.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
That's
it
good.
just highlights how,
Yeah,
yeah,
And then
we're gonna get it done.
Yeah,
Somehow,
yeah,
right? It's gonna
yeah.
get done.
And then the other floor fan, one of our members had a spare one, so he brought that in. So effectively, we can get rid of that $500 for the floor fan.
No, we're not trying to justify the need for this, but this goes right back to the incentive side.
Right.
Incentivize
Yeah.
Absolutely. And
Give
retention
the
and the
extra.
cost savings. That $8,000 is the training of one person that you had to replace. Maybe less than that, honestly, so. I think we should get it done.
Like we'll be as, you know,
I-
We know you will.
as responsible as we can.
Trust
you
it.
know.
But
You're
if
doing a
you,
great job at that.
if you get those couple bills and then code them,
Mhm.
so it goes into that other account, the other account. It's just a little bit of support, but
And then you said in terms of the heating, that one is not quite as much of a rush. The flooring you'd like to get done as soon as possible. The heating sooner than later.
The heating
sooner
we
the
have
better.
to address at some point down there, cause,
I think we should address it all at the same time.
And we can get the information on what was put aside.
Yeah.
I'm sure I can have that by
Yeah.
the council meeting, so
Cause that will definitely get
this gets final approval there, whatever you do today.
that. And then I think to the benefits of the heat pump versus the electric wall heater would be good information to have for the council meeting. I'm not sure if we have anything in our strategic plan about environmentally friendly upgrades, but that's also additional justification for the heat pump versus electrical heater. We probably have something.
so that heat pump, is that like a boiler?
No, it's just,
No.
it looks
Okay.
like it's those big white things that
Okay.
hang on the side of they actually they go inside the building.
Okay,
And then there's piping to the outside that allows them to drain. That's where you get the dehumidification piece.
okay,
So they look like almost like an air conditioning unit,
Okay.
but they do both air conditioning and heating.
okay,
the condenser goes on the outside of the building and then
okay,
the face piece goes on the inside of the building, they call them mini, you'll hear people refer to them as mini splits.
so I have to buy a boiler and they're gonna put
Oh,
hot water on it.
oh yeah, that's a different type of
Yeah,
system.
so it replaces, since I have to get a new boiler, it replaces the hot water tank. If you do it in this one unit,
Right.
I
So
put
that-
I put a heat pump in my house last year.
yeah,
So that's what I use for AC, and then up into a certain temperature, it'll actually do the heating too, so you know, down to -1 or 2. It'll actually run that unit and heat the house.
so we do
And
the same,
fridge kicks in after.
we do the same
Yep.
for this job, like, so you're getting heating and air
Yep.
conditioning?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which will help with the moisture in the basement.
Yeah,
So I'm prepared to recommend that the proposed upgrades as detailed with those changes we just discussed, possibly with the fans, in the attached spreadsheet, including the heat pump, be approved, creating an over budget expense in the fire hall maintenance account.
so if you take those two items off,
Mhm.
you're almost down to about 10.
Yeah.
Like if you choose not to do the electric wall heater,
Mhm.
1,500, and then the floor fan, 500. There's-
No,
no?
the 12 doesn't include the 15.
No,
That's right.
So if you would take the
Oh,
500 off
okay.
of the 12.
Sorry, I see it. I
Yeah,
see
so it'd still be a little over.
Okay,
But
okay,
it is worth it.
yeah, oh, I think so.
Is that heat pump quote just one so far? Just
I just got the one from MN.
Okay.
a couple quotes too, might be able to shave
Yeah,
some off.
I think there was an expense, the heat pump itself was 5 or 55. And then the remaining was electrical. So, because they have to run from that one panel all the way out through the one wall, all the way through that room out into to get it to the outside. So it's probably 50 or 70 feet of tech, which become, I think it was $1,800 just for the electrical. So we might be able to shave some off of that as well.
Okay. Thank
You're
you.
okay with that recommendation?
yeah,
as well?
so, yeah. I
So we'll
support
get
that.
some information for the council meeting just to kind of back up the recommendation a little bit.
Make the case before we have to ask the questions.
Mhm.
Thank you. We can move on to a review of the financial statements for the period ending March 31st, 2026. Mary Ann, did you have any questions?
No, I didn't. I did have one, actually, sorry. The fire dispatch costs, I'm losing my voice again. The percentage is so high early in this year. Is it
Probably because
paid
it's
off
a,
early or
yeah.
something?
Yeah, the bill came in early.
Yeah, so it doesn't go for the whole year, like, okay. It'll be in budget.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. That's all the question I have.
think that's, thank you. All right. Is nothing additional, then we can, the next meeting of the fire committee will be held May 12th, 2026 at 8:45 AM. Then we can adjourn.
Seconded, so move.
Thank you.